ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. I'm not going to lie to you. It is currently Monday, February 13th, 2023. It is the day after, in my opinion, the Philadelphia Eagles got blatantly robbed of a Super Bowl by the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know how long this podcast is going to go. I don't know if it's going to be me swearing. I don't know if it's going to be a therapy session. I really don't know. If you are listening on our official sponsor of the Brandon's World Podcast, Anchor, which by the way, we do now have a new call to ad for Anchor. So you can check that out at the beginning of all of our audio podcasts. Again, whether you are listening on Anchor, Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure to go to our YouTube channel because this video will be uploaded to the Brandon's World YouTube page. I'm frustrated, angry, pissed off, emotional, all of those emotions come into play. As you can see, the guy behind me, if you're watching on video, number one, QB1, transfer from Alabama, was at Oklahoma. Now he is indeed the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles and should have been the winner of last night's Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, I thought outplayed Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes. Now I give you Kansas City. Mahomes only missed one incompletion in the second half. I give you Kansas City's offense. We did not stop them in the second half. I give you it was 20-10 to the halftime. I give you Kansas City went up and down the field on us. I completely understand it. But you know where I'm going with this. And I talked about it last year. I talked about it a lot this postseason. Listen, I have defended NFL referees for the longest time. When people have said the NFL is rigged, when people have said that the referees are not good, when people have said referees need to go full time, I have said they probably miss calls on every play, and the majority of games do not come down to one call. But we have seen now in 3 of the last 4 big time NFL games in the last 2 seasons. I'm talking about, of course, the Super Bowl last year between the Rams and the Bengals, both championship games this year, and the Super Bowl this year. We have had games literally decided by officials. Last year, the blatant non-holding call on Logan Wilson of the Cincinnati Bengals on the 3rd down by the Rams. It would have been 4th and 8 at like the 12-yard line. Could have been converted, but very hard to convert against a Bengals team that had all the momentum. I believe that call cost the Cincinnati Bengals the Super Bowl. I believe this year that late hit out of bounds they called on the Bengals in the AFC Championship game when Mahomes was barely on the white. And again, by the word of the law, was it a foul? Probably. But I believe that cost the Cincinnati Bengals an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And then last night, James Bradbury did get away. I acknowledge this. Number 24, the Philadelphia Eagles, James Bradbury, did get away with a defensive holding call in the first quarter. But here is my issue with this. It was much more egregious, ladies and gentlemen, in the first quarter of the game than what they called in the fourth quarter in the deciding game of the season. What happened? We hear this all the time, right? In basketball, you're not going to be calling the same fouls that you call in the regular season in the postseason. You're not going to call that ticky-tack foul because you're going to let the players decide the game. Last night, the Zebras cost the Philadelphia Eagles the opportunity to go down and win the game. Bottom line. Now, again, I'm not saying that the Eagles would have won the game if they wouldn't have called that holding. But Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense, which had moved the ball in Kansas City all game long, would have a timeout with 1:50 left to at least get the game in overtime. And if Kansas City wins the toss in overtime, they go down and score and win the Super Bowl, albeit fine. But that last night felt like the ultimate all-time highway blatant robbery of a Super Bowl finish. Again, you can make all the arguments you want about this and that, and Kansas City should have probably won anyway, and yada yada yada, and the Eagles were 10-point lead. I get it all. But in that situation, in that moment, again, what we are always taught is this: in the game, in the moment, which players are going to make plays. They let pass interference go. They let holding go. They let grabbing go. If that was the case, you could have made an argument that on the last play of the game in Super Bowl 47, Michael Crabtree gets interfered with by the Baltimore defensive back. San Francisco would have had an opportunity to take the lead and win that Super Bowl and that incredible comeback in New Orleans, but they didn't call it. Why? Because it was on the last play in the situation, in the moment, in the back of the end zone, and the players decided the game. Last night, that ball by Patrick Mahomes, I get it was holding, so it had nothing to do with the ball being in the air, but that ball was also uncatchable. James Bradbury does have his hand on his shirt, but that by definition is not holding. He does not tug, he does not pull. Unlike in the first quarter when he did do that and should have been fined for it, and I acknowledge it, and they did not call it. That is my issue with officiating, whether it's MLB umpires, whether it's NFL referees, whether it's NBA referees. My issue with officiating is consistency. If you're going to make that call in the first quarter, make it in the fourth quarter. Bottom line is, Jalen Hurts have lost twice this season as the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Once on Monday Night Football against the Washington Commanders, when they called that in on Brandon Graham when Taylor Heineke had already given himself up. Definitely a questionable call. And Jalen Hurts, in my mind, lost this Super Bowl on a questionable call. You could have made an argument that this year with Jalen Hurts, if Quez Watkins catches both balls that were thrown by Jalen Hurts, the Eagles are literally undefeated this year with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. A great game, back and forth. Almost the most points ever scored in a Super Bowl in history is decided by an official. And yes, it was decided by an official. And I think what the Kansas City fans don't want to admit it, but in due time they will. That game was decided by Carl Shepard's crew in the Super Bowl. You cannot make that call. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm disgusted. I haven't been able to sleep. It is a bitter pill to swallow that we have to sit here all off season saying, what if the guy behind me gets one more chance? What if Jalen Hurts gets one more chance to tie the game and send it to overtime? A season where I believe the Eagles were the better team. I believe Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl yesterday. That was one of the greatest performances by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. And we never know the ending of the game. You call me a sore loser, call me a fair weather fan all you want. I've been an Eagles fan since 2004. I've dealt with Super Bowl losses before, okay? I understand the pain and the suffering. I've lost the 2015 NBA Finals. I've lost the 2017 NBA Finals. I've lost the 2016 World Series. I've lost the 2018 NBA Finals. I understand what getting to the moment in the game and the expectations, what it's like to lose in big championship games. I don't like losing. I don't care if it's a tic-tac-toe. I don't care if it's a Pac-Man. I don't care if it's a Madden, or I don't care if it's in the Super Bowl. I do not like to lose. And last night, folks, I lost. So you can give Patrick Mahomes all your flowers, call him the GOAT all you want. I say, I will see you, Patrick Mahomes, next year. I will see the Kansas City Chiefs next year, and I'm doing everything in my power right now to try to stay PG, to try to stay professional, to try to be a good person that I am. Because inside right now, inside I am furious, I am emotional, I am upset. My team lost the Super Bowl, I believe, because of a bad call.